Hello students, let us start with the next lesson from bio, that is how do organisms reproduce. Before going into the mechanism of reproduction, let us learn the definition and why organism reproduce. So you know the definition for reproduction. What is reproduction? Usually we say reproduction is the process of giving birth to young one of its own kind. Okay, so reproduction means what? Reproduction is the process of formation of new generation of young ones of similar type by the grown-up individual. So it is, in simple term, we can say reproduction is a process of giving birth to their own young ones, which are similar young ones. That is called reproduction. So it's a formation of new generation of young ones which are similar, or it is by the grown-up individuals. That is reproduction. Now we have learned reproduction is also one of the life process, right? Like we know which are the life process we have listed in previous classes, right? So we learned nutrition, respiration, transportation, excretion. Okay, so these are the life processes. And we also know very well reproduction is a one life process, but compared to the other four life processes are very much essential for an individual organism to survive. For one particular organism to survive. Say there is a cat. Okay, this cat, if it does not perform, or if it does not take food, if it does not respire, if the transportation of materials is not done properly, or if it does not excrete, what will happen? That organism will die. That individual organism will die. So that's the definition for life process. What is the definition for life process? We know life process are the processes or the activities which will help an organism to survive. For an individual organism to survive, it has to carry out all the four life processes. Which are those life processes? Nutrition, respiration, transportation and excretion. Then what about reproduction? For an individual organism, reproduction is not necessary for it to survive. Okay, same cat. Okay, if it is the cat, it is performing all the other four processes. That is, it is taking food and it is respiring. Transportation is also quite okay, no problem. And it is excretion also no problem. If it doesn't reproduce, do you think it will die? No. When you don't respire, of course it will die. If we don't excrete the waste, yes, it will lead to kidney failure, and the person will die. Like if it doesn't undergo dialysis, everything. Even after dialysis, maybe after some 2-3 years or 5 years, at the most they will die. Okay, so these are very much essential for the organism to survive. If it doesn't reproduce, will it die? No, it will not die. It will not lead to death. Then, why reproduction is important? Reproduction is important for the continuation of the species, for the continuation of generation. One mango tree is there, imagine mango tree is there, and it does not produce a seed. So what will happen? Its generation will not continue. Okay? That is where reproduction becomes essential. That's why it is included under life process. It is not necessary for an individual organism to survive, but for the entire population, for continuation of the species, reproduction is important. So why? Reproduction is essential. Reproduction ensures continuation of species, perpetuation of species, it's preservation of species, okay, replacement of dead individual in their population, okay. So you see, say there are around 50 elephants are there, okay, and these 50 elephants, they don't reproduce. What will happen? Their population will not continue, right? So reproduction becomes a process wherein the dead individuals will be replaced. There will be addition. So their population will be maintained. Okay. So that's why reproduction is very much important. Replacement of dead individuals. And most importantly, introduction and transfer of variation. We'll be learning about that. What is variation, everything. Okay. So I hope now you have understood what is reproduction. So reproduction is the process of creating young ones of similar kind. Okay. So that is reproduction. Why reproduction is important? It is not important for the survival of an individual organism. That is, if I stay without taking food, or if an organism does not take food for a week, what will happen? It will die. If it doesn't respire for a minute, it will die. So this reproduction is not essential for an individual organism to survive. That you underline that. Okay. But then why it is important? It is important because it ensures continuation of species. See, all the species we are seeing, all these different varieties of living forms we are seeing, starting from tiny organisms to huge plants and trees we are seeing, it is because of reproduction. So, reproduction is essential because it ensures continuation of species, preservation of species, okay, right, it has to preserve, right, otherwise what happens? It becomes extinct, so we won't see that anymore, right? And the next generation also will not be able to see if it does not reproduce. Okay. So perpetuation of species, replacement of dead individuals. So as I told you the example, if some 50 or 100 organisms are living there and one dies, okay, and if it is by then if some within the population there is no newborn are there, right? So babies are not born. So what will happen? Slowly one after the other will die and then population will completely disappear. So it will help in replacement of dead individuals. Okay? An introduction and transfer of variation. So that's about the introduction of reproduction. Now, what is the mechanism for reproduction? Let us wonder how organisms look similar when a cat gives birth to its young one, kitten. It looks exactly similar. Okay, when an elephant gives birth to its calf, it looks similar. And the plants, right? You take different plants, right? The flowering plants you take, for example, right? The coconut plant looks exactly like the coconut plant. Have you wondered how they get this exact, how do they make this exact copy of themselves, right? So if there is a mango tree, the mango tree will give rise to a mango tree only, right? It forms an exact copy, right? How do it form this exact copy? There should be a mechanism, isn't it? There should be a mechanism which will help in making that young one to be similar in appearance, right? So if at all you look yourself, right? Like you may resemble your father, you may resemble your mother or your grandparents or your uncle or aunt. So we have this, we look similar. What makes us similar? How do this exact copies are prepared or made? Okay, is there a mechanism? So we have learned in previous classes that our cells, right? In the cell, we have learned about detail about cell. So in the cell we have nucleus, right? In the nucleus there is one most important material is present inside the nucleus. What is that material? What is that component which is present in the nucleus? Yes, that is our chromatin network. You have learned, right? So what is this chromatin network? Chromatin network contains the hereditary material called DNA, right? We have learned about DNA, isn't it? Right? So in the nucleus of our cell, not our cell, that is, the higher plants and animals, so which has this defined nucleus, right? So not only the eukaryotic cell, even prokaryotic cells also we find the presence of what is called chromosomes, right? In the nucleus we have the structures called chromatin network, right? So if this is the nucleus, we have learned in detail. So we have the thread-like structure. This thread-like structure we call it chromatin network. So what is this chromatin network composed of? The chromatin network is composed of the genetic material, or we say the heredity material called DNA. As DNA, the chromatin network is composed of DNA. Can you give the expansion of DNA? What is DNA? Yes, DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. There are two types of nucleic acid we have. One is DNA, other one is RNA. The RNA does not help in, transferring the hereditary material. It is DNA, okay, that you should remember. DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. So the chromatin network contains DNA. The DNA is responsible for making the exact copies, okay? Making the exact copy of an individual organism, okay? So the chromatin network, so I just try to make you understand here, is that the chromatin network, when the cell is about to divide. See, there we see cell division in our body. So there are cell division means what? A cell, one cell is there, it divides and forms two cells, right? So from one parent cell, two cells will be formed, okay? And those two cells again will be dividing and it forms again two more cells. If this is one cell, it divides and it forms two more cells. And again these two cells will also divide and it will again forms two more cells. So what happens? The number of cells will keep on increasing. So here it's kind of cell reproduction. Cell division is nothing but kind of cell reproduction which will help in increase in the number of cells. Now, why should a cell divide? What is the reason for cell division? Why there should be increase in the number of cells? There are two reasons for it. Why cell division takes place? Cell division takes place for one, it will help in our growth. So you are growing taller, okay? So for all this thing, that is, it will help in the growth. And whenever you get wound, right? When you get wound, the skin comes out, and after within some 2-3 days, you can see the formation of new cell, right? So it will help in cell replacement, okay? Cell repair, cell growth, cell repair, cell replacement, and in case of unicellular organism, which is the unicellular organism? Amoeba. Let us think about amoeba. An amoeba divides and it forms two amoebae, right? So it will become a kind of reproduction. Cell division in case of unicellular organism, it becomes a type of reproduction. So now cell division takes place in our body, okay? So there are two types of cell division. One is called mitosis cell division, other one is called meiosis cell division. So this you will be learning in your higher classes. Just to make you understand what is this DNA, I have to tell you this. So there are two types of cell division. Okay, one is called mitosis cell division, meiosis, cell division. Okay, so there are two types of cell division. Now, whatever I told you just now, what is cell division? It's nothing but type of cell reproduction. A cell divides and forms the daughter cells. Okay, so that is cell reproduction. So there are two types. One is mitosis. And just now I told you cell division will help in growth, cell replacement, cell repair. Okay, for all those things it is done by that division is called mitosis cell division. So what is mitosis cell division? What is the importance of mitosis cell division? It will help in cell growth, cell repair, replacement, cell replacement, and in case of unicellular organism, it will become a type of reproduction. So this is what we say mitosis cell division. And leaving this type of cell division, what we say mitosis cell division takes place in our body almost every day. Okay, because you know very well the WBC. The WBC, when it counters, when it comes in contact with any foreign germs, it will get destroyed. So by then one more cell should be produced, right? So mitosis cell division takes place in our body, and the cell replace, like when the cell becomes old, one organ has to be destroyed, new cells have to be formed. All this is done by mitosis cell division. So what is this meiosis cell division? Meiosis cell division takes place after certain age. Meiosis cell division is seen in organism after certain age. That is when the age of, in case of human being, the age of 13. Okay, so when the child reaches puberty, or the puberty, just learn puberty or teenage, right? So that is when the meiosis cell division will be seen, and it was up to certain age. After that, meiosis cell division will not be seen. Mitosis, throughout our lifetime, we see mitosis cell division because it is necessary, isn't it? Meiosis cell division is seen or begins from the age of puberty, and it has, like after certain age, it stops. Okay, meiosis helps in the formation of gametes. Meiosis helps in the formation of gametes. You know what are gametes, right? Gametes are the cells that they are called the reproductive cells. Gametes are called the reproductive cells. It is the reproductive cells which are produced only by higher plants and higher animals. Okay, higher plants and higher animals, we see the formation of the gametes, or we can say gametes production is seen in those organisms which will undergo sexual reproduction. That is where meiosis cell division. Meiosis cell division helps in the formation of gametes, right? So in case of human being, okay, human being or animals, higher animals, the male gametes. See, we learned in control and coordination, that is testosterone, right? Testosterone is the hormone produced by testes, and estrogen is the hormone produced by the ovaries. And I told you testosterone helps in development of secondary male character, and estrogen will help in the growth of secondary female character. Other than that, testosterone will also help in the formation of the male gametes. Male gametes are called sperms and female gametes are called ova or egg. So estrogen will help in the formation of production of female gametes. So this also you should remember. So that is formation of gametes is a function of meiosis. So this much it is clear, right? Now where all this takes place? It takes place inside the nucleus.